My name is Still Rhapsody, and welcome back to Still Disco Elysium. Alright, let's have a discussion with you about the paranormal stuff I suspect is...
esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Behind those curtains, there we are. Why are you so uptight about those curtains? I just want to know what's on the other side. I already told you, it's just a storage room for employees. I don't understand why it's so important to you. Just let it go, officer. Buy some goddamn books. You're supposed to be drawn to the books. If it's just a storage room, then why does it have a Seminese ward protecting it? It's just for decoration? She wavers under your gaze, mouth pressed in a tight-lipped smile. Then something breaks. Okay, fine. It's because this place is cursed, just like Annette said. They don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Are you happy now, officer? Happy that you've ruined everything? She closes her eyes and starts mumbling something to her pendant. Suggestion, take it easy. You've broken her resistance. Pushing her further will gain nothing. How does this curse manifest itself? A shiver runs through the woman as she looks around the dimly lit store. The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's disease eating at the very foundation. Her voice drops to a whisper. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy. She peers at the curtains again. Inland Empire. Didn't that curtain just move? Annette mentioned that previous tenants had experienced some financial troubles. It's not just that, officer. We're dealing with something supernatural here. It's the Carco Daemons feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie, lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here. Empathy. Sounds familiar. Strange. I feel unwanted too. What does it mean? Truly so. Her eyes narrow as she tries to get a read on your energy. Perhaps the dark energies are leeching off of you. You shouldn't stay in the store too long. It may be dangerous. Why didn't you tell me right away it's a curse? It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism. It's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them. Conceptualization. Wow, void wraiths. You have new words. Have you sought help from anyone? Yes, I've contacted several parapsychologists and even a pair of Seminese mediators. They've provided me with the wards. She nods at the strange cage-like trinket on the curtains. The wards help keep the doom at bay and protect us from the darkness that lies further in the building. Even now, I fear, it's not enough. Is your pendant part of the wards as well? There we go. That's the part of the conversation I wanted to get to. Oh, this. She holds the pendant in her palm. Its ochre heart glistens under the lights. No, it's a special Hymean amulet blessed by a desert pygmy shamans with the spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with different inducement spells, for example. She nods. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%. Rhetoric. Desert pygmy shamans? It sounds like a rather questionable way to describe a group of people. Well, would you like me to take the case? I can investigate, see if the curse is real. Or, I don't think the curse is real, I just want you to let me in there. I'm gonna go with that. I don't want to push too hard, though. I think under the guise that I believe in the curse, I would try and get more access. So I'm gonna go with 5. Most certainly not. I don't want anyone who's not familiar with the psychic arts to get involved in this mess. Stay away. Leave the spirits be so they can return to their slumber. My liege, you know what this case calls for? A para-detective, Drama says. I had a few more questions about the curse. Or gave a smart-ass parenting advice. Dang it. But my Drama 4 gives me the ability to convince her to allow me to investigate the doomed area. I'm gonna try it. You know what? No, I'm gonna ask more questions about the curse first. Never mind, I had other questions. Alright, I'm gonna roll this. Hey! We succeeded! Slither up to her, you silver-tongued fiend! Show her what world-class perfidy looks like. Wait, if I don't want to lie? Don't care about that. Ma'am, I've come here to help. I've handled paranatural situations before. Are you sure? She looks skeptical. Don't think I haven't seen charlatans before. I sensed the psychic emanations from afar. The sleeper beyond calls out. I've returned from the void, a para-detective from a long line of para-detectives. I'm going to go for the first one. She shudders. I'm not sure I can trust your claims. Honestly, you look like a bit of a drinker. I'm sorry for being so blunt, but... The lieutenant keeps his usual stony calm. He silently picks out of his notebook. Esprit de corps. Go ahead then. Rock her world, he thinks. I'll compose some notes. Ah, right. Sorry, that's the Esprit de corps is actually giving me King Kutsuragi's inner dialogue. There we go. I admit I've had my fair share of drinks, but only because the spectral realm was parapsychologically taxing. How do you know all this? Here we go! Your wards brought me in here in the first place. The Semini's blood also runs through me, or I am the Void Revenant. I have the powers to de-bad all the bad energies. I'm gonna go for the first one. I feel like the second is like a bad actor trying to improvise. You're part Seminese. Oh, it means our meeting couldn't have been mere chance. The hand of fate guides us. But I'm not the only one at risk. I have to think of my daughter. Are you certain you can keep us safe? I can't allow any collateral damage to hit us. No problem whatsoever. Your family is safe. The Phantoms are no match for me. Or just ask my partner Kim. He'll vouch for me. We're going to go for the Phantoms because my Kim's probably not going to vouch for me. She shuffles nervously. If you promise, good officer, then... She pauses. You might be our last hope. Do you swear it? Hand on my heart. On my honor. Thank you, sir. A timid sigh of relief followed by a cautious smile. There's one thing I haven't told you about yet. The entity. Do not act surprised. You know of these things, sire. Of course. The entity. For I have sensed its presence. Too. You have! She gasps. The entity takes the form of a woman. A witch, probably. I've suspected she must be connected to the curse ever since I first met her. Do you know that she lives inside the chimney? Chimney? The passage between heaven and hell, of course. Yes! The chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She's barricaded herself behind some metal security curtains. God knows what she's doing in there. Some unnatural magics, I assume. She shivers. You should go find... the entity. And ask what happened to all the companies in this building. What's the source of the curse? Here's the key to the warded door behind the curtains. Take it. Oh, and please do return to me after you've looked around. I'm quite anxious to know what she has to say about the curse. What you discover in there. Inland Empire. Unbelievable darkness and ruin. I don't believe in that. Logic. What you discover? Probably some office space. Don't be scared. Farewell for now, book peddler. Pull the curtains open. You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little Seminese wards. Your shadow looming over it, like an omen. Plaisance. A small, terrified escapes from Plaisance as she tries her best to look away, her round face buried in her hands. Alright, just in case there's interactables. Nope. Ghostly silhouettes of hairdryers, as well as a vaguely androgynous portrait of a man. Oof, I'm not going to be able to use pain threshold. Oh, never mind. A heavy door stands before you. Heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. I'm going to unlock it with the key. After exerting some force, you manage to turn the key. It's eerily silent. The door slides slightly open, letting a draft of cold air out into the room. Kim, maybe you should go in first. No, I open the door and enter. I'm not scared of such things. I believe this to be effectively paranormal hysteria. Sand is dripping from a punch bag. What is this thing here? Oh, a shot put ball. Neat. The poster says Cetius, Fortis, The rest is worn off. Can I take the whole barbell with me? Barbell. A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. Physical instrument. Trivial success. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights, showing the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them. Visual calculus. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard. Inland Empire. Why does it feel so familiar? Legendary. Lift the barbell. Notice the collars. That gives me a little bit of a boost there. Is this familiar because I'm a weightlifter? Or, look, Kim, it's a trap. There are no collars on the barbell. You're right. The weights may fall off. Better not to touch it then. What kind of a bastard would just remove the collars? Should be a felony, actually. Well, actually, I don't really care about safety hazards. I'm going to go with the first one. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore. Is this familiar because I'm a weightlifter? No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat, and a whistle. Then the feeling is gone. Stale smell of rubber, squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat. To me, that sounds like I was a wrestler, maybe, at some point. Logic, it's just a memory. Endurance, a memory from another life when you were young and fit. All right, here we go. 8% chance to do this. I'm gonna die? No, I'm not gonna die. I should have suspected that could have damaged me. That's my bad. I'm gonna need to get some heals. You managed to hoist it off the ground, but the barbell feels wobbly and dangerous, and your hands slick with sweat. Turns out you're no beast, just an old man with bad form. Inland Empire. See? See? This place is cursed! Fuck you, you stupid barbell! Seems like I'm a little out of shape. Well, maybe these gloves just suck. Proper weightlifting gloves would definitely afford a better grip. The lieutenant agrees. Cool, let's get some proper weightlifting gloves. Also, it'd be nice if I could get the, ooh, look! A Girya. It'd be nice. Oh, hang on. Kitsuragi has something to say, apparently. But let's see what this is first. Worn out war bars. They look unsafe. All right, Kitsuragi. What do you got?
What is this place?
It's an adventure. Or the Netherworld. Looks like a gym. Well, it looks like a gym to me. Yes, but no one's been here in ages. He draws a stripe on the dusty floor with his foot. I doubt the electricity still works. We should find a flashlight if we want to go on. There should be one in my kinema. An eerie feeling rises in your chest. What if there's a reason no one's been here for ages? Nope. Let's go get that flashlight then. The lieutenant nods. And I'm gonna bounce back and get that flashlight. I don't know if there is even any more to explore there, but I'm happy to try. So it does seem like this world doesn't actually have working magics. Good. Although that's honestly only my current read of it. Like, my understanding could develop in the future to incorporate the possibility. But that helps me situate myself in the world, because I don't have to consider what I would do with magical forces. Okay, your car's over here, right? Yep. Okay, let's, oh, actually, I'll also turn on the headlights. He turns the preheater on, waits, and takes out his keys and says, all right, ready. I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater. Empathy. He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant's more than happy to show off his precious carriage. Press engine start. The dashboard lights up with an orange glow. You know what? That woke up my character from the void in the first episode, and I'm pretty sure that that sound could wake the dead. That was very loud in my ears. I apologize if it was extremely loud in yours. The dashboard lights up with an orange glow. Rounds per minute gauges jump with the engine of the Capri Cinema as it comes to life with a whiny growl. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle. There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine for now. I'm going to pull out the toolbox and quickly get the hand crank flashlight. It's robust, weatherproof, and well made. Police issue. Blue. Perception sight. Lets you see things in the dark you would otherwise miss. That's a trivial perception to make right now. Close the door. Oh, that's probably going to be the interaction. Yeah, interfacing. As you hold your ledger's clip on the head, under the headlamp, a shiny iridescent pattern appears. One you've definitely seen before. There she is. Revachol Rest. There's a note of pride in the lieutenant's voice. Damaged ledger. Around the borders of the watermarks are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. Let's look at the shimmering street grid first. The rectangular logo is overlaid with, rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM. And yet, the major arteries of Revachol are also recognizable. They shimmer in the kinema's headlights. Wait, look around you. A rat brazenly darts past you and disappears amongst the stopped lorries. In the distance, a child somewhere shrieks. A woman reprimands her in a voice no quieter than the child's cry. Ah, Martinet. He smells the air and says, "Where are we on this?" Point to the halogen map. Let me see. He takes the ledger for a moment and inspects it. Right here, he says, his finger near the top of the map on a segment of coast jutting out of the great ocean. Seems nice. Seems like a shithole. I'm sure I've seen worse. Oh yes. Coal City, Le Royaume, the burnt out quarter. I'm gonna look at the perforations. There are many of them. They're divided into 3 separate rows. Tally up the different rows. First row has 18 dots. Not bad. Not bad for what? You don't even know what it means yet. There we go. What about the next one? The next one is the longest. It runs all the way around the border and then some. Count them individually. There are so many it's hard to count. More than 150? Maybe even 200. What about the last row? The last row has 3 perforations. So I'm going to guess, okay, what? 18 dots. I'm going to say, been in the force for 18 years, solved more than 150 to 200 cases, have killed 3 people. 3? That's it? That's it. Hey, Kim, what do all these holes mean? Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They're your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look. Rhetoric. Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant. The first row represents your years of service. Woo! 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? Wait, 18 years I've done this? Got drunk like a megastar? I walked the land telling whores and liars of the end to come. There are 9,855 days remaining. I was a hobo and I lived under a boat. Probably some boring office job, same as everyone else. I feel like I just went around apologizing all the time. Or do you really think I have any idea? Do you really think I have any idea? Fair point. Let's move on, shall we? The next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, let's see. Wow, more than 200. Is that a lot? It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers. Used to be good. That's some solace, I remember. I don't think I can ever re-become this person. What's the last number? Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You got precisely 3 perforations there. I got it. I think that officially makes me qualified to write for the game. Please hire me, Zal. I will work diligently. I will be the 21st member of Zal. This game was developed by 20 people, by the way. Just 20. That's so incredible to me. Right. Those are your confirmed kills. So I'm a killer. I was expecting a higher number, or that's not too many. Well, so I was a killer. Like, if I was confronted with the fact that I have no knowledge of, but I had murdered people, that like killed people, obviously, murder has a specific connotation. This is just at least confirmed kills. I don't know if I would be able to handle that. So I think so I'm a killer. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Dramrock quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way. That's pretty cool. What's it feel like to kill a man, Mr. McCoy? A young woman asks the man across the desk from her. Honestly, babe, says John McCoy, crossing his ankles over said desk, I don't feel anything anymore. Just like brushing my teeth. I do it once or twice a week and don't really think about it. There's no trace of guilt in his voice. There are certain officers who treat their kills like some sort of a ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. It's obvious the lieutenant doesn't think very highly of these officers. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. Have you ever killed anyone, Kim? No, too hard to push. How do you handle the strain? Everyone has their own method of coping, some more effective or self-destructive than others. He gives you a meaningful look. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Like what? Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now. I'd love to. Maybe I should find a hobby. Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves. He points to your yellow gardening gloves. That's a thing that I'm wearing. Esprit de corps. It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab. I don't feel comfortable, but I guess we are talking about each of us having killed, and that in the line of the force, you do kill. And in fact, I've already confirmed in how do you handle the strain. It's implied that Kim has killed in his response. So I'm gonna end that. The lieutenant nods. Okay, let's go. Put the ledger away. Right, I'll go turn off the lights. He presses a remote key. You can now see your statistics on the journal page. I can see my statistics on the journal page? Where's the journal page? Journal page. Task. It's a whole load of tasks. Wait, no. Statistics? Superstar cop. I've got 3 in sorry cop, 1 in boring cop. 4 in communist, 0 in fascist, 2 in ultra liberal, and 1 in moralist. Ultra liberal? What did I do that was ultra liberal? I got good cop, bad cop 3, and 1 in honor. 3 people killed, cases solved, 216, and years in service 18. Neat. And this is going to evolve over the course of me discovering more about my past. I'm consistently rendered speechless, which is not good in a platform where my only way to communicate with you, the audience, is my voice. I'm consistently rendered speechless by this game. I love it. Some great tectonic force has cracked the pavement like an eggshell. Ooh, in fact, I have 2 different ways of thinking about this here. Let's go for the pressing one. The damage looks like it could have been caused by an earthquake. Yeah, we already knew that. Maybe a sea monster did this to the plaza? So it seems like different things are influencing me there. Like one of them was obviously like a logical, or maybe even like the conceptual, it's not conceptualization, what's it called? The modeling. What are my stats again? It's visual calculus. There we go. It seems like visual calculus probably would have given me that, and then characterization or one of the other kind of like fanciful ones tried to say that a sea monster might have done it. The worn and beaten bench planks of this bench do not look overly comforting. The lieutenant nods down the street. We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go. You can revisit the bench whenever you need to pass the time while Lieutenant Kisaragi is gone. Hey. Oh! That seems to imply that we'll be staying in this location. So I thought this location was like just the starting area. But no, maybe the whole game takes place in this location. And that's why it's as large as it is. Not bad, Rene. You might stand a chance this time. Oh, hang on. Those are bowls, not shot put. Dang. Although, what about those bowls? The spirited chirps and clicks of the swallows fill the air. Alright. One thing at a time. Let's go back. I got a little bit more exploring to do. It's the fun new way that I say exploring. What do you think? Let's go through here. Don't be afraid to say weird things. Okay, never mind. I've seen that one before. I'm trying to pay attention to these because they're actually useful tips. Ah, okay, that's a staircase. I thought that was just a boarded up door. Let's talk to Kim.
It's dark.
Lieutenant states the obvious. And the flashlight works a whole lot better if you hold it into your hand. Flashlights go in hands? Stare at your hand uncomprehendingly. Yes, the lieutenant says. You might even call it a feature of the universe, that you need to hold tools to use them. That makes no sense at all. The lieutenant frowns. I'm sorry the fundamental laws of the universe don't seem to agree with you, detective, but the fact remains that it's too dark to see in here without the flashlight, so come on, we've got work to do. Get him! It even follows my mouse. The hallway is blocked by old window panes and debris. Ooh, okay, this is getting a little bit spookier in here. Looks like, interesting. Taxidermy. I noticed Gart was repairing a great squaw at the first area. Maybe this gives us a little more information about Gart. A large demijohn full of strange liquid. I would guess that's probably what's it called? Formaldehyde? Wild animals stare at you in the dark, stuffed and mounted. Poor animals. No rest for their bodies after death. Airship rotors covered in spider webs. They remind you of blades. Mannequins as well, I see. Time to loot though. Oh, hell yeah, a couple real right there. Neat, I can probably go buy something now. A naked mannequin torso. It's a strange yellow color. Blue velvet, soft to the touch. Moth bitten. So these actually seem to be previous businesses. This appears to be like a tailor or maybe like a dressmaker. The one obviously in the other room appears to be a taxidermy place. More real, lovely. Skis with Slipstream printed on the laminated top layer. Ooh, production schedule filament memory. Let's have a look at that later. Steel rotor blades bearing a Slipstream logo. Conceptualization. Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize their business here. I don't get it. Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same Slipstream logo. It seems likely that they started out making one, failed to turn a profit, then pivoted to producing the other. But the question is, which do they start with and which do they finish with? Which do they pivot to? That's a good question. What a strange leap of imagination. And yet they still failed. How sad. Really? Reality is ruthless. Alright. Now, item... Oh, shot put ball. I haven't actually looked at this one yet. A ball used for playing shot put. You feel as though you should hold on to this and make good use of it. To sell such a beautiful old sports equipment would be a sin. Such, not a, so such beautiful old sports equipment would be sin. The cube-like crisscross of filaments feels oddly fragile in your hand. Its intricate structure covered in dust. Silver tape on the side reads, production schedule. Note, this filament contains information that can only be read using a radio computer. Okay. Another piece of equipment to interrogate. Mainframe. Ah, we might actually be able to get this one working and use the filament in there. This appears to be some kind of a machine with a cube-shaped heart. There you go. And wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer. A radio computer, says Lieutenant, watching you circle around the machine. Just sitting here without anyone in sight. He sounds surprised and a bit cautious. Do you think I should turn it on? We have one of these down at the station, but I never really learned how to use it. Turn on the machine. The machine lights up like some sort of prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber. Revealing virescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open. Look inside the compartment. It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left tangling, disconnected. The filament you have would fit inside absolutely perfectly. All right, insert the filament. Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play button starts blinking. Press play. The bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of the static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. Inland Empire. Have you stirred the ghost of the doomed commercial area from its rest? Could this be its dismembered heart beginning to flutter? Mainframe. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackly and old, cutting into the air. East Insulindian Repeater Station.
Good afternoon. Right?
Hang on.
Good afternoon, Batman. Fortress accident on the Rue de Saint Ghislaine. This is an East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. What is the production schedule?
What's the production schedule?
The filament you've inserted into the reader.
You mean the glowing thing I put inside?
Yes. Is that the production schedule? Batman.
Yes.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Logic. Password. Of course it's something to have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved. You should ask her for a hint. A password? That's a suggestion, by the way. Password? I'm really bad at passwords. Can you give me a hint?
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations. This is the police. Please open this thing. The voice recites,
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder Fortress accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament, Batman.
I'm afraid we're not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password?
I don't know the password.
Received. I will register this long an attempt.
Don't worry, passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Why'd you call me Fortress Accident?
Fortress Accident on the company is the company on whose name the terminal you're currently using has been registered to.
Do you have any other information about this company?
One moment.
You hear her flip through a catalog before she reads out with studious care.
Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says.
Conceptualization, that's not bad. Wow, so conceptual. She hums. And what's that? This interactive call-on radio play? The static drowns her response.
Any other questions?
You hear her ask when the connection finally improves. What are you, a machine or are you alive? No, I understand that. That's all for now. Press off silent.
Thank you and goodbye.
The old lady's voice disappears rather along with the static. I'm gonna press print. Nothing happens. All right, I'm gonna remove the production schedule, keep it with myself, and then leave. I don't want to leave this area and then come back and it's like, someone's stolen the production schedule. Now that's your quest. Enjoy, nerd. Project Dreadboard. Your flashlight slides over a old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes, like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing is faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there, photos and drawings that have been pinned to the board. Inspect the drawings. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different kinds of Welkins. You can make out autumnal candle Welkins, casting candle-based magic. Translucent Welkins, with organs shining under their skin, and even ether Welkins, hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. Inland Empire. Who are all those creatures? Fantasies of tortured, feverish mind? You should adopt one of these Welkins as your persona. No longer a mere man, but a Welkin. One of the Welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however. Examine this Welkin. This is important. It's Varahamira, a high Welkin. His face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The note says all non-Welcome races will be purged. The Holder, the Dwarg, the humans, and even the Headless Men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled with only the Welkin, Green Welkin, Dread Welkin, and the High Welkin to rule them all. The lieutenant can't help but comment, an inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. Whisper, one of them is a Welcome supremacist. Political commentary. That one has a great beard, too. Kim nods at the Welkin's facial hair. Why would anyone spend so much time on this? Who are the creatures? Are they no. Why would anyone I don't really want to ask any of these other questions because I don't think I would ask any of these other questions. Let's move on. Just look at those details. So much effort. And for what? All gone. Inspect the photos. The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees groaning under the snow. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. Encyclopedia. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers by Boreal Dwarg. Yurts under the snow, great mammoth-like beasts of burden. A pinned postcard reads, The Heat Death Scenario. A desperate fight for the geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting from the universe. Inspect the schedule. This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid. What's that? People doing some agile development. The grand scheme of production and money. That's about as much commentary as I can make on that, by the way. Despite training in software engineering, I do not have a wealth of information about the agile development strategies. Sorry. Empathy. I mean, like, they trained us in it. It's just, like, all of the training that they gave us was working with other people and kind of, like, having a mock sprint session and stuff like that. And nothing gets done in group scenarios of learning, at least in that format of group scenarios of learning, I typically find. Unless it's like teaching each other and kind of learning from each other and that kind of thing. It was mostly just check off the checklist of things they wanted us to do and end up with deliverables. It was, I feel, maybe too short to be effective. Empathy. Everyone is constantly teetering on the edge of the abyss. An abyss of production. These squares look orderly, but beneath them is chaos, worry, and pain. Yeah, that seems to track with my limited knowledge. Minimi stands for mini meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called the called RUN. Station 41. Got it. Tried to implement it a few years ago, but kept failing. Keep reading. What happened? As time goes on, the numbers in the box grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield on the final days. Only failure and regret dwell within this region. The lieutenant looks at the frigid ice field of nothingness and concludes, looks like they didn't make it. We get experience from doing stuff like that. I'm going back to the drawings. I gotta. Examine the Welkin. Why would anyone spend so much time on this? Some people really like building a world, I think. Even if it's just for a game. That is actually interesting. There are a lot of people who like just enjoy the idea of world building in their head. My partner definitely does with the... hang on. I think 5 technically concurrent different worlds that he himself has created for different D&D campaigns. And a lot of them have like adapted rules, like heavily modified rules of D&D and stuff like that. But each of them is a unique setting. Like he'll sit down with the players that are going to be in the respective D&D campaign and go, okay, what kinds of things are you interested in? And people will be like, I like pirates. I like airships. And then it's like, okay, cool. This is a pirate airship campaign. And then it sprawls out into this giant world. It's amazing to me. It's frankly astounding. It's like watching someone play like concerto piano. It's like, how? You mean there wasn't a world here, and then you made one? Who are the creatures? Who drew them? Are they real? So many questions. It looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real. All right, fine. We didn't get anything for that. Inspect the notes. The handwriting is only partially legible, but you can make out 3 slogans. Call in, tune out, we're all untethered, and heat death of the universe. Leave. Frequency fireplace. The old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading across the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and strangely ancient. The mesh spreading out like blood vessels on alabaster. Writing. Inland Empire, a diagram for summoning some sort of time-forgotten being? The symbols seem very esoteric. I wonder what happens if you lean all the way in onto the Inland Empire things. The whole thing resembles Kedron mosaic tiles. Very pedantic. Hold on. How do I know what Kedron, again, mosaic tiles are supposed to look like? History class. Students with their textbooks open, reading the roots of our civilization. Those aquarelle blue tiles look beautiful in the sun. What am I looking at? Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, 123.7, 123.9. Some written notes, too, sparse and cryptic. Radio frequencies for what? It's unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system, split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. So we're dealing with something medical here? No. This must be an elaborate piece of art? Probably not. Of course, the anatomy of the curse. No, I'm gonna go for the art line. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants. Is this like an ARG kind of sitch? Wait, who's the Game Master? Someone very important.
The leader of a massive on-air game built by these people.
Conceptualization. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the Game Master's frequency. If it's a game, then who's playing? Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, it looks like. Ah, yes, okay, right, call-in radio station. Yeah, got it. All of this got gone. Left unrealized. Logic. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off. This is all like clearly a bit of a self-insert. My God. The lieutenant leans in closer, his finger tracking the maddening ribosome. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. I know a little about the behind-the-scenes development of this from like a couple videos I watched about the UX design and stuff like that. I made sure to skip over any vaguely spoilerish parts, although those videos were made largely without spoilers. That seems to track. The schedule. He nods at the calendar on the chalkboard, wiping his marker-stained fingers clean. I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding. What else? Squint at the lines. Frequency fireplace. Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used a fireplace in ages. I'm afraid that for the moment, that's the end of our time together. For the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Disco Elysium. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. There's a playlist in the description down below. Just in case you need to find another video of this game, past, present, and or future. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.